Hey, what's up, you guys? Paul here from Team APS, and so and I mean just, walked back into my room from class, and what do I see? A new Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list. Like I said a couple of videos ago, I expected that this would happen. I think a lot of people did. Once the Duelist Saga leaks kind of started to come out, it just all made sense. So this ban list is going to be effective from March 31st, which is the date the Duelist Saga releases. And yeah, so the current ban list will be in effect until March 30th. And there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. I would say that after just a very quick precursory glance at this ban list, it's what a lot of people kind of expected, kind of what a lot of people wanted, I would say. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm just going to unpack this and give my raw, guttural thoughts here. And then at the end of the video, I want to hear what you guys think. Where do you see the format going from here? I'll explain kind of my early thoughts on that, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, first cards first, we've got Magispector Unicorn Kieran, a card that, let's be fair, I think a lot of people wanted to see go. I mean, it kind of just doesn't let you play. I've been under the Kieran lock many times before. It's no fun. In addition to the fact that it's pretty easy to pendulum summon the thing out, the fact that it's like a much more powerful, like new school Neo-Space and Grand Mold type of lock, where it feels almost how, like, say, Constellar Pleiades felt, except like even more powerful because, you know, you're able to bounce these pendulum monsters to your hand. Oftentimes that means reusing their effect and stuff too. And, you know, Kieran, even if you kill it, can just come back. And so the Kieran lock's annoying. It makes sense. And I do like this hit because it means that pendulum decks like Metal Foes can still function as a deck. So, you know, you can still play your Metal Foes deck. You can still play your Performa Pal deck or, you know, something like that. But it just means that you can't, you know, like just abuse Kieran itself. And so I think that's perfectly fine. It's unfortunate for a Magispector player, but I mean, even still, the Magispector deck is still usable, so not too bad. And the next banned card is the Tyrant Neptune. Now, for those of you guys who didn't know, the Tyrant Neptune actually has a really powerful combo. In fact, I'll go ahead and look it up. The Tyrant Neptune. So, there's actually a really powerful combo that it can do with a card that's coming out in Maxx Crisis. As you can see, its effect is, you know, it can't be special summoned. You have to tribute summon it by tributing a monster. It gains the original attack and defense of the monster that it tributed, and then also you get to target a monster in the graveyard that you tributed for it, and it gets that monster's name and effects. And so, I think it's here in the tips. There's actually a specific card that comes out in Maximum Crisis. Yeah, so you use this. It's Lyrical Lucinia. So basically, you use Instant Fusion because this is a fusion monster that's level 1. Use Instant Fusion, summon this, and then you tribute it for the Tyrant Neptune. And so what will happen is the Tyrant Neptune will have 6,000 attack because Neptune is, I think, level 12, and it's also unaffected by other card effects. And then you can deal damage to your opponent that's like, wait, no, Tyrant Neptune is level 10. So it'll have 5,000 attack plus 1,000 just for this thing. And so basically, you can burn your opponent for 5,000 once per turn, plus it's unaffected by stuff, plus it's huge. So you can see where that combo is ridiculously strong. And this card comes out in Maximum Crisis, so this is sort of like a preemptory hit to, you know, yeah, to this. So a lot of people might be confused by like why this card would suddenly get banned, but it all makes sense. So just thankfully we won't have to deal with any of that shenanigans. No other cards banned except for the one that, God, thank goodness. Vanity's Emptiness. This card is redonkulous. I honestly am so glad to see the back of it. There was a period of time where I didn't really mind Vanity's Emptiness hanging around at 1, but I've realized more and more just from playing different decks. I've been using Blue Eyes and playing against like Drill the Twins and like everybody, and all the different decks we use, I'll just tech it, and I'm starting to see this card is just bonkers. Like, it sucks because if you open with Vanity's Emptiness and your opponent doesn't, you'll usually win. And I feel like a card that's that polarizing, where it's just like whoever opens with it first will win most likely 9 times out of 10, that's annoying. You know, in addition to the whole like your opponent can't play and all of that, and it can actually be really hard to get rid of the card. If your opponent has an established board and they flip it, then you can't counter their board. So no more Vanities is a-okay with me. Yeah, not much more to say about that. I think a lot of people are happy. Next, let's see, Maxx went from semi-limited to limited. So this is one of those ones, I had a fleeting suspicion about it. I haven't really talked much about Maxx, but I just felt like when they moved it to 2, it just seemed like, this is weird. Like, I didn't think that 2 Maxx was much different than 3 Maxx, and it seems like that's the case because, you know, still having multiple Maxx means you can still open with it and still use it, and Maxx is a powerful card. I have attested for a long time it is one of the strongest cards in the game since as of the last several years, just because, you know, it's actually quite similar to something like Vanity's Emptiness, where if you have a really powerful established board and a Maxx in your hand, your opponent can't beat you more often than not, because in order to beat your board, they have to make several special summons, and maybe they'll swing over a lot of your stuff, but by that time you've drawn 5-6 cards, and you'll just be able to beat them back. Also, it's really strong if you open with it, you know, going first or second, really. So it kind of stops your opponent's opening turn just on the basis of they don't want to give you more cards to work with. So I see where this card is getting a little bit out of hand, and it makes sense for it to go to 1. It does make me wonder, though, at 1, how often will it be run, especially with the rise of like all these 60 card decks, where it just kind of feels like, is it even worth it to run a card you're only have a single copy of? It may not see, and that even goes for a 40 card deck. Like, is it worth running Maxx? Would you rather just run Upstart or just a third copy of something that helps your deck? So that's something I want to know about. What do you guys think? You let me know in the comments. Next up comes pretty much all of the banned cards that get erratas in Duelist Saga, so this confirms that all of them do. Rescue Cat's coming back to 1. I couldn't be happier. I play X-Sabers. You guys know how much that means to me. But it also helps any other decks that could use Rescue Cat. I think Medolce comes to mind, and there might be another that I'm being dumb and missing. But yeah, Rescue Cat's back, and essentially it's going to, I see it acting as a combo starter for a few decks. With the errata, it's not quite as good. The monster's effects are negated, for example, and like you can only use Rescue Cat once per turn. But still, that's like free rank 3 Xyz, so, you know, I could see a deck that uses it, if only just to make, like, I don't know, Invoker or something. You know, that does get released in Duelist Saga 2, so that's exciting. Yeah, next is Brionic with the errata. So it's a 1, and with the errata, I mean, it's just an average card. I don't know. Like, it's, it is what it is. Like, it can still, you know, be used in something like Mermails to get, you know, Atlantean effect, maybe bounce a card, recycle it. I don't think it's a bad card, but I just don't think that people are going to be, like, bending over backwards to make a level 6 synchro. That said, cool, it's back. Let's see, what else? Brain Control with the errata. Now, the Brain Control errata, I don't remember it exactly, but it's like you have to take cards that can't be normal summoned or something like that. It's kind of makes it a meh card. I always felt like Mind Control is better. So Brain Control's back. Future Fusion's back. I like the Future Fusion errata. I think it was a smart one. It basically slows the card down. So where your opponent, or the person using Future Fusion, has to wait until their first standby phase after using it to actually get to send the cards to the grave, and the second standby phase to summon the monster. So it makes it not just like an instant Foolish Burial for 50 different cards. Still, though, Infernoids can make pretty good use of it, and a couple of other decks too. So I think that it will still see some play in the meta, and especially if we're going into this slower format, moving towards Link monsters and stuff. So I'm fine with seeing this back. And then lastly, we've got Imperial Order, which has that new restriction that forget exactly how the errata works, but you guys know it. And basically, it's gonna be around now. It kind of, let me, you know, I forgot, so I'm going to look up exactly what they said about Imperial Order. What did they do to this thing? How'd they gut it out? Erratas. Is this the one? Oh yeah, okay, I remember what it is now. You pay 700 during each standby phase, and it still just negates all the spell effects and stuff, and you don't get the option to destroy it anymore. So I think it'll still be pretty good. Still kind of a good anti-pendulum, anti-spell card thing, but it can hurt you a lot to keep it on the field. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be integrated pretty well into the game. I think it'll be a fun tech, at least for a while. Long term, people may not end up using it because there are some better options, especially some cards coming out, but that's fine. I am disappointed to see that we still don't get Chaos Emperor Dragon back, with an errata or not, and that's kind of lame. I was hoping to get it back, even though the errata makes it kind of trashy. It still just would have been nice. One more card off the ban list, but nah. So, the cards that got moved to 2. We have Wisdom Eye Magician. It was limited, and now it's semi-limited, and I think that that's fine. I really like it. I think a lot of people were kind of disgusted that Wisdom Eye Magician in general had gotten limited because they felt like it wasn't fair. Magicians weren't winning events left and right. So for it to come back at 2, I think is fair. I think that's good for Magician decks. If your Magician deck ran like Kieran, I guess you can just switch the cards over now or something, and that can work. But yeah, I'm happy to see this. I'm not like a Magicians player myself. I know Alec kind of is, so he might be happy to read about this. But yeah, it's just cool. And then the big one is Zoodiac Ratpier going to 2. Now, it's not limited, so, nothing harsh, and it's the only of the direct Zoodiac hits here on this list. But, yeah, Zoodiac Ratpier to 2, basically, I agree with this. This is fine. It basically means that the Zoodiac engine is not as nutty. It doesn't get to go as far, and that's fine with me. I think it means a lot of people will not be using that engine quite as much. It kind of, I don't want to say hurts the consistency, but it certainly hurts the longevity of the engine. And as per usual, it still means, a one well-timed BD Crow hurts that much more. I agree with this. I think this is good because I was getting a little bit tired of seeing Zoodiacs teched into every damn deck I played against online or locally or anywhere. So I'm fine with this. I think a lot of people are fine with this. I think a lot of people honestly would have preferred Zoodiacs to get hit even harder. But this will do. I mean, remember that Zoodiacs are still a new deck, so it makes sense that they wouldn't be just like completely trashed like they did in the OCG. So this is okay, and I think that it also means the prices of a lot of their cards might drop a little bit. And then last but not least, on semi-limited, we've got Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which is it's okay. I mean, I would have preferred to maybe see this card get limited, but semi-limited is fine too. I mean, there were people who were running like 3 copies of it just because it's a dark hole and you just want to see it fast and use it, blow the field, and then OTK, like especially if you're running a Zoodiac deck. So putting it to 2 is fine with me. I see it a little bit less. It doesn't really solve the Kaiju problem that a lot of people hate. I think that putting it to 1 might have helped more with that because obviously they can't really limit like all of the Kaijus and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. I would be interested in seeing if this card maybe ends up at 1 later, but it may just be fine at 2. You might not see it as much. So I don't really have a problem with it going to 2. I would have just preferred 1. And then we also get Sangan, who's just no longer on the list. It's gotten the errata. I think we all know that Sangan isn't going to be doing a whole lot. That errata just slows it down. You can't like use the card that you search. And I mean, I would prefer that we maybe also get Magician of Faith with the same errata, but that doesn't seem like it's happening. So yeah, that's the ban list. I gotta say, I don't want to say it's like boring, but it's just predictable. It's about what I expected. The errated cards all get to come back, and stuff that people kind of had already wanted gone. Vanity's Emptiness, Kieran, Tyrant Neptune made sense because it's a thing that's coming out. Yeah, all that stuff's just kind of where it is. The Maxx hit's interesting. I think that's gonna really change the whole. I just want to know if Maxx will be run again at all. And Zoodiacs might not be in everything now. Maybe Magicians will be a little bit better. I don't know. Yeah, so that's the list. Like I said, it goes into effect on March 31st, which is when Duelist Saga releases. And I'd actually love to take this opportunity to say that I'm going to be, doing openings, of course, of Duelist Saga. And I'm also going to be doing a giveaway of it when I do that opening. I will be giving more details in that specific video. Just giving away a full box. Like this, like what, 5 mini boxes of Duelist Saga. And if we can reach 60,000 subscribers before then I might actually give away 2 because I'm really excited about the set, and I think that it's just one of those ones that a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on. So if it's got all the hype surrounding it, I might as well give away 2. More details on that later though. Back to this video. Let me know what you guys think about this ban list. I mean, I give it a thumbs up. It's fine with me. There were cards that were kind of conspicuously absent. I think a lot of people expected to see Instant Fusion on here. I think a lot of people expected to, or Norden. I think a lot of people expected to maybe see like Speedroid Terratop. They're both MIA. So, you know, like what's going to be the thing with them? Are they still as good as they were? I would say yes. So, yeah, you know, what happened to cards like that? What happened to Dimensional Barrier, right? And Solemn Strike. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'd love to know. And remember, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I have a Discord server. And you can check out TCG Player for some awesome deals on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and sealed product. It's going to be it. So I will catch you guys in the next video. I end my turn.